Hey, it's Amy. Welcome back to my channel. I'm getting around a little easier, but as you can see, sitting down and moving is still a little hard to do. I cannot believe that the Boston Marathon happened only a few days ago. While I'm recovering from the best marathon in the world, which I was told many times by random people in Boston, I wanted to give a brief recap of how my Boston Marathon went. I'm also going to do a video on the haul from the Expo and Tracksmith and etc. So if you don't want to miss that video, click the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified when I upload it. So let's talk about my 2021 Boston Marathon recap. So my mom and I flew to Boston on Friday, and good thing we did because by the time we arrived at our hotel in Boston, it was probably 6:30 p.m. So it was a very long day of traveling, and I didn't really get to do anything other than go for a short shakeout run, eat some supper, and then go to bed. Saturday, however, was a very busy day, and I'm very glad I got all the things done on Saturday, so I had Sunday just to do a shakeout run and veg. On Saturday, the first thing that we did was go to the vaccine verification tent. They verified that I had 2 valid shots of vaccine for COVID, they gave me this bracelet here. Every single runner, even the elites, had to wear this bracelet in order to get on the bus, get our medal, etc. It was very easy and quick to do, but this thing was kind of annoying, and you can see maybe in photos that I actually ran holding it like this. It was kind of comforting in a way, but still annoying that I had to hold it in my hand and flap it around. But now I don't want to ever take it off. I'm sure I will eventually, but for now, it's staying on my wrist. After the vaccine verification, then we headed to the Expo. And yes, the line went to the back of the building, but it moved very quickly. Then I picked up my bib, which was, again, very easy because I got there right away, so I didn't have to wait in any lines. My mom and I then explored the Expo. There was a spot you could write your name on the wall, another place where your name was typed on the wall, and I'll have some photos of these on the screen. Then there was just chaos and lots of clothing and accessories and everyone just going through them all. I'm so thankful that I got this jacket ahead of time, even though I didn't need to, I just didn't know. But next time, I don't think I'll buy the jacket before I got to the marathon. Also, I love this jacket so much. As I mentioned before, I'll share in another video what I got at the Expo, but it was really fun to go with my mom. You know, there wasn't a lot to do at the Expo. I heard that it's smaller than usual, but my mom and I walked around, had a lot of fun, and got through it a lot quicker than I thought we would. Then we headed to Tracksmith. Again, I won't share what I got there, but it was so cool to see Tracksmith in person. It's in this 2-story or maybe even 3-story house, but it was so cool. As you went up, the main floor had a coffee bar and TVs where you'd watch things, and then downstairs is where all the clothing was and the change rooms, etc. It's a lot smaller than I thought it would be, but it was really cool, again, to see it in person. After Tracksmith, we got some snacks from Trader Joe's and sat down for a little rest. My mom and I walked a lot on Saturday, or tried not to, but you know, by the time you go do all these stops you had to do, it added up a lot. We then had to go to our COVID test, which we had to get a PCR test to get back into Canada, and had to be within 72 hours, so we needed this test to get back home. Unfortunately, my mom and I are not known for our sense of direction, and we took the wrong way on the subway line, and it's different than Toronto that the trains don't come very quickly after each other. So once I realized that we were going the wrong way, I looked at my phone and realized that we were going to be late to our test. I started to panic because oh my goodness, we need this test, and I didn't know if there was any later tests, and then there was none available on Sunday, so we ended up getting an Uber, but thank goodness I had my cell phone and I had this plan to have it turned on. But we got there in time, got our test, obviously negative, but it was a little stressful. Finally, we got back to the hotel, relaxed, and then we walked to get supper at this really nice Italian restaurant called Mast. I ate so much pasta this weekend and I really don't want to eat pasta or bagels for a very long time. Sunday was nice. I got to sleep in a little bit and then headed to Lululemon on Newbury Street and met up for a Shakeout run. I met my friend Sid there and a few other familiar faces, and we went for a short run. I think it ended up being slightly under 5 kilometers, which was fine. There was nothing to be gained. It's more for just mentally to run a little bit and just get the legs moving. It felt nice. Then I just went back to the hotel and watched a lot of HGTV. It was so awesome to see my friends from Toronto and Boston and get to catch up with them, and I really missed them. Okay, on to the day that we actually were there for, and that is race day. I think I went to bed at like 9:30 the night before and slept so well. I thought I wasn't gonna sleep at all, but passed right out. I woke up around 5:30 and started to eat my breakfast of a bagel and peanut butter and my Morton 320 calf at around probably 5:45. Then I just kind of finished that and then met my friends in the lobby of the hotel at 7:10. My friend Dana was a gem and she braided my hair in like 5 minutes and it stayed in really well. And we met in the lobby and she did it there and it was perfect. It was nice not to have to braid my own hair, and she again did a beautiful job. Then 3 of us took an Uber to the start line and got to the bag drop off, went to the washroom again, and then headed to the line for the bus to take us to the start line. So we walked through the Boston Commons to get to the bus loading area, and before we even got through or got to the buses, security people had to check our bags if we had any and just make sure that that everything was okay. Then we went to the line where the buses were loading. Each bus could hold 77 runners, and we just made the one bus that we were in line for. It was on good old school buses, and we all had to share a seat with somebody. The bus ride was fine, except it got so cold because they had all the windows open. I'm sure it was for ventilation and COVID reasons, but we were so cold. I'm very thankful I had my throwaway sweater and sweatpants on. Some people didn't have any sweatpants on and they were just freezing. I'm also very thankful I was sitting next to a friend, and so we just snuggled on the bus and just tried to stay together for warmth. The bus ride seemed to take forever, and I can't remember, I think it's an hour long, but we got there eventually. Then we got off and went to another porta potty, and pro tip, always go to the porta potties in the corner. At least for us, there was never a lineup and we got in really quickly, so go to the corner porta potties. Then we walked half a mile to the start line. I didn't have to do much warm-up because the walk to the start line warmed me up, and I was very thankful because I was pretty chilled after the bus ride. Once we got to the start line, again, went to the corner porta potties and went to the washroom one last time. There's nothing worse than having to go to the washroom or having an emergency on a run or a race, so you can understand, I'm sure, why we went to the washroom. I think we went to 1, 2, 3 porta potties on our trip from the bag drop off all the way to the start line. When we got to the start line, this is where I parted ways with my 2 friends who also were with me. I just wanted to take my time to do some activations and just be by myself and just get ready to do the Boston Marathon. It was kind of chaotic. There was a lot of people just milling around, and I didn't really like the rolling start because you just had to just run over the start line and there was no gun, and so I waited till 10 o'clock exactly on the dot. Then I just started running. All I could think was, you're running the Boston Marathon. I couldn't believe it. It was just such a surreal moment. Yes, we started downhill and it was awesome, but I did have to weave a lot. I'm not sure if this was tiring or took away any time, but all I know is that I just had to weave a lot and couldn't really get into a groove because there was just a lot of people ahead of me that wasn't going the pace that I wanted to go, so I had to kind of move around a lot. Then I got to kilometer 2 and realized that there was a hill ahead of me. And I'm like, everyone said the beginning of Boston was all downhill, but they forgot to mention that there was a little hill at the beginning. That kind of threw me off a little bit, but thankfully survived. But I was like, oh no, everything is hills in Boston, and it really was. There was a lot of rolling hills. I could not say how amazing it was to have other runners around me and having the cheers of the crowds that surround me and just help me get through the marathon. Yes, I did a marathon last year and had awesome friends cheering me on, but nothing really prepared me, or I guess I forgot how awesome it was to have just lots and big crowds of people cheering you on. There was a couple quieter moments during the race when there wasn't a huge number of people cheering, and that was okay. I actually really appreciated that time just to be in my own head and just calm myself and just check in how I was doing. I didn't actually start off doing my race pace that I had really trained for because just feeling my body or just knowing my body, I didn't think I would be able to hold it the entire time, and I wanted to make sure that I could get those hills and not completely destroy myself before the hills and not be able to finish or just blow up. So I was a bit conservative at the beginning and was able to pick up some time going downhill, but not as much time as I thought I would. I think next time I would push it a bit more at the beginning, but that's for a later time to reflect on the race. I'm just basking and remembering just how much fun it was to run the Boston Marathon, and I'll think about things I could do later on, what I could do differently. I was just at peace with whatever pace or time that I got at the end. Yes, I wanted a specific time, but I also just was so thankful to be there in person and just running just such an awesome and iconic and a dream come true race. I saw so many golden retrievers, it was very exciting. I tried not to get too distracted, but they were just so cute. Oh my word, Wellesley College was unreal. I could hear the roar of screams before I even got there, and I just knew, without even anyone telling me, that this was Wellesley College coming up. It was so exciting, and I could feel myself just getting super emotional, and I had to kind of rein it in because I still had a very long way to go, but just the students and just everyone screaming, it was so awesome. It was probably one of the highlights of the marathon. I saw the town sign of Newton and I was like, uh-oh, here we go. The first couple hills weren't too bad, and I was actually able to keep a pretty good pace going up them. Again, maybe I went too hard up those hills, but I'm not gonna think about that too much. The crowds were awesome and really helped me get up the hill, and a few people were starting to walk now, and I don't blame them. Hills are really hard. I trained on hills a lot, and I thought I was really prepared, but I don't know, by the last Heartbreak Hill, it really did break me. The first thing that kind of started to flare up and hurt were my hamstrings. I'm not sure if I just didn't strengthen them enough or were they gonna be tired no matter what I did. But I could just really feel them, especially when I was approaching the last hill. Going downhill was amazing because it just helped me get my legs turning over again, and it was just a bit of a relief. I don't know if I could have done as well if I had just flat and not a little bit downhill after the hills to kind of get me going for the last hill at least. I think my hamstrings started hurting around 36, and then my legs started to go numb after that. Surprisingly, my feet did not hurt, and I am so happy with the Vaporfly 2s. They were awesome, didn't get any black toes. I mean, my toes are bruised, but I think that's just no matter what, my feet would be bruised, but I just so happy with them. So Heartbreak Hill, I really slowed down. I think looking at my watch, I saw 5-minute pace, which, was much slower than I wanted to go, but I just felt like I couldn't, get a turnover. I couldn't go any faster. I was so tired, and my legs were again numb, and I was just really struggling up that last hill. Again, I thought I was so prepared, but you know what? You never know how Boston's gonna hit you, and it hits, I think, differently every time you run it, or so I've heard, but I just really struggled that last hill, but at the same time, I was still trying to keep positive. No matter how slow I was going, I just was determined just to keep running and enjoying this awesome race. And yes, I was starting to hurt, but it was just, again, super awesome to run Boston. The last 4 kilometers, I'm not gonna lie, seemed to take forever, and I just wanted to be done. I was kind of finished by the last 4 kilometers. I wanted to stop, but I still had so far, or it seemed like so far to go. I saw the sit-go sign coming up, and I knew once I saw that the end was just in sight. And my mom was cheering me at the sit-go sign, so I knew that I just had to get to her, and then I could just get to the end. I was looking for my mom in this line of people, and I didn't see her until the very corner, and it was just so brief, but it was so awesome to see my mom, and she was yelling and was cheering, and it just got me that little push to get to the end. Here she is! Go Amy! Go Amy! Go Amy! The end of the marathon is a little blurry. I was starting to kind of look at my watch, but I couldn't really see. It was getting a little blurry, but I was trying to hold on for all of my being just to make it to the end. So yeah, the end was pretty hard, and especially turning the corner, going to the final stretch of the marathon. I think it spiked my heart rate, or just going up that little incline, and I started to, unfortunately, kind of gag and dry heave a bit, and I think that's just my MO. Like every marathon, or at least the last marathon I did, I started to do that at the end, and then I was trying to hold it in, and there's a wonderful photo which I'll post up here of me just trying to hold it in, and unfortunately I couldn't, so I kind of was sick at the very last stretch, and I knew that I missed my goal, but I was trying to hold it in, and it kind of got all over me, and I was trying to wipe my face so it would be clean for the last final finish line photo, and I was just kind of just like running and trying just to get to the end, and I was just so excited to see the final, that iconic finish line, and was trying not to be sick again, but I made it, and all I could think was just like so excited, and I just threw my hands in the air and crossed the finish line, and then stopped my watch and just couldn't believe that I had done it. I was still feeling a little sick, so I walked very slowly, and my legs were just destroyed. So I was hobbling very slowly down the chute and down, they handed out masks, and then they handed a bottle of water, and then slowly made my way to get my medal. And I just was tearing up by this point because I was so happy, and everyone was saying congratulations, and I was sad in a way that it was done, but also excited, and sad that I missed my goal, but also just so proud of myself. I went out there, I gave my best that I could at that moment in that day, and I finished the Boston Marathon, so I'm very, very happy with how it went, and I just have to go back and do it again. I wasn't going to do a bag drop, but I decided to do a bag drop, and I'm glad I did. Then I was able to get my phone and just my clean socks and shoes that I was able to change into, because I knew that I was going to take a little bit to meet up with my mom. Before I got my bag though, I was walking, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be sick again. So thankfully, a few people in red, the medics, pulled a garbage can behind a bus, and so I thankfully was not sick, but there was a couple close moments. But anyways, he was really nice, the medic who stood next to me, made sure I was okay, we chatted a little bit, and then I hobbled down to the bus. Unfortunately, I dropped something, and it took me like 10 seconds to bend over and get this bag, and everyone was laughing at me, but it's okay. I got the bag that I dropped, but it was very painful to bend over still is a little bit, but it was painful at that moment. I got a finished photo, and I had to ask the runners behind me to make sure that I really didn't have anything on my face like when I was sick. So I got that photo, then I kept walking, got that blanket, kept walking some more, and then I got out of the area and called my husband and cried and then was able to find my mom.
Good job, baby! I'm so proud. Rolled my ankle on top. Babes. No one's paying attention.
I almost forgot to mention how my fueling went. I had my Morton regular gel on the bus about 30 minutes before I actually started the race. I wanted to have the gel on the bus before the race because it had been a little bit since my breakfast, and I didn't want to have it right at the beginning either, so it was a perfect time of 30 minutes before I started. At 30 minutes, I had a regular Morton gel. At 60 minutes, I had a regular Morton gel. At an hour and a half, I had the caffeinated gel. And at 2 hours, I was able to have another regular gel. I wasn't able to get a fifth one down, and I think that's okay. I didn't feel like I was tired from lack of energy. Just I think from the hills and just the marathon itself was why I was tired, but I'm very happy I was able to get 4 gels down. Or actually 5 gels, because 1 at the beginning. So I'm very happy with how many gels and the fueling that I was able to do. I also mostly had Gatorade during the race because it was actually around 20 degrees and high humidity. I can't remember what percentage, but it was pretty warm by the end of the race. This is also the first time I haven't chafed under my arm in any race. I am so happy with the Aeroswift singlet. Cannot recommend enough. Also, the Tracksmith shorts were awesome with the pockets, and they didn't ride up. They were super comfortable. Very happy I ran in them too. The Stance Light tab socks didn't get any blisters on my feet, so again, cannot recommend enough all that I was wearing. It really, really worked. I also decided that I love racing in braids, and that's how I'm gonna do my hair from now on. So braids, the Aeroswift singlet, Tracksmith shorts, Stance socks, Vaporfly 2s, it all was really, really great to race in. I also didn't wear sunglasses as it was mostly overcast, and it got sunnier at the end, but I'm very happy that I didn't wear sunglasses. I don't think there's anything I would have changed about what I wore, or like the gels or anything, but no, I'm very happy, and maybe if it had been warmer, no, I still think I would have wore exactly what I did. So happy with my race outfit. The bibs were huge though. It covered like my entire stomach. My mom and I also went to Tracksmith after my race, or walked there very slowly. And on the way there, I saw my friends from Black Toe, and it was just so awesome to see them. And we all hugged and just celebrated everyone's awesome achievement of finishing the Boston Marathon. We got to Tracksmith, and then they stamped it with my time on it, and I'm very happy to have this poster. It's so nice. I was so overwhelmed by all the well wishes of my family once I got my phone and turned it on, and just everyone's support and love and cheering just meant so much to me, and I cannot say how much I appreciated it. And knowing people were cheering me and streaming and watching me on the app and watching me run just really helped me also during the race. I was just so blown away by everyone's support, and it's such a special, awesome race, and just I'm very lucky to have so many wonderful people in my life. And yeah, I cried at the end of the race. Everyone will not be surprised at that. I'm looking at you, Jen. But anyways, I just so thankful, and I am still so happy and overwhelmed by the whole experience. And I just wanted to share with you kind of the play-by-play, or as much as I can remember. Sometimes it's a bit of a fog, but I just wanted to share with you how the race went. And again, not my goal time, but it's okay. I'm very okay with it, and I'm just proud of it, and I'm excited to recover and then start on a new goal. It was so cool when I was walking around Boston, or more like hobbling around after the marathon, how many strangers and people just said congratulations and were so supportive and so happy. It was just a really cool experience. I've never had that before in my life, as Toronto or even in Ottawa, people didn't really care. I don't know, but Boston people were just awesome. They are so proud of this race, and it was just very special because, again, it had been so long since the last Boston Marathon. I got on the subway for free, which is awesome. I didn't realize, and we finally got back to the hotel. I had my protein drink, and I was able just to, relax for a bit, and then went out for food with my friends. We didn't stay out late. I was so exhausted and tired, and we had a super early flight on Tuesday morning, so my mom and I went to bed very early. Got home, got through customs and our COVID test and everything, and it's all good, and now we're back home and recovering. Yes, I missed my goal of sub 3 by 1 minute and 19 seconds, but I'm very proud of my race. I listened to my body and realized that I couldn't sustain a faster pace, or maybe I could have, but I just didn't feel like I could. I wanted to be successful at the end. The hills, the downhills, the heat, all combined to make it an amazing, super special, and super tough, brutal course. I love you, Boston Marathon, and I will see you again. Thank you all who've cheered me on and supported me during Boston. It really meant a lot. I hope you enjoyed this race recap, and I'm so excited just to recover and start running again, and hopefully not be so sore soon. I can't wait to race Boston again, but I'm also excited to start training for a new goal. So we'll see what that is. I have no idea, but I'm excited just to, recover and then start on my new plan. If you like this video, tap that thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.